What happens at Ewing Oil stays at Ewing Oil.
Hey, get in here. Dallas is about to start.
Welcome to the Ewing Barbecue, where, much like Anthony, we're thinking about moving out. My name is Mary.
And I'm Sarah.
Yeah, I'm Josh here, fighting with the computer this evening, but we're here.
I'm Melanie, and I'm here too. Cheers!
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 And by the way, that was a Billy Joel
Cheers.
reference if you did not get it.
Cheers, wrong TV show.
A quick thank you to our Patreon members, Brendan Fillick, Captain America, Marie Johnson, Michael Jung, Jason Carter, Jennifer Indelicato, Laura Bernheim, Brad Mulholland, Anita Wren, and Kristen Carlano. Thanks, guys. And we have a few more people who have added themselves to our free Patreon. And so we're going to try to get some stuff up there for you guys that will hopefully be interesting. I don't know. What do you guys want?
Got some cool new merch that you're working on.
It is super cool.
So cool stuff.
I spent the weekend, updating our website because I got a little heads up from Cattleman's Club on Instagram that our merch link, one of our merch links was broken. And so I went on to fix it. And then, 5 hours later, I'm still editing it. It looks way better, in my opinion. And also, I made some merch, which I've been meaning to do for a while, and I finally did. So all the pictures that I drew for stickers a while back, I have made into T-shirts and other things that are on TeePublic. And so check that out. If you just go to our website, ewingbbq.com, there's a link, or you can look in your show notes. There will be a link for merch. And you can get a T-shirt, a hoodie, a pillow, a coffee mug, a travel coffee mug, a baby one. If you have a onesie and your nephew needs to wear J.R. Ewing on them, they do, you can buy one. There's a bunch of different options, so please check it out. We get a little tiny bit of a profit from that. Every $1 helps.
So did those links on the website take you, click on them, they take you to Teespring or whatever it is?
Yep. You'll just see merch and you click on it and it'll take you right there. On our website, you can also go directly to our episodes. There's an About Us section. There's lots of pictures of us.
Which we don't have our latest pictures up there, do we? Like the ones of the four of us together.
I added them.
Okay, I'm about to go look at it.
I know. I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, where are they?
They're on there. They're mixed in.
Okay. Oh, there they are. Way down at the bottom. Okay.
Yeah, so they're all mixed in there. So check it out if you want to. And if you don't, that's totally fine too. You do you.
So let's see. Just a quick update. Deborah Trinelli has joined the fan convention circuit. She did her first one this past weekend, which was November 12th, and she hopes to be doing more. She got hooked on with Deb Bernard's person. And the big news, obviously, the Screen Actors Guild strike is over. Let's see, birthdays. Let's start with, since we haven't been on in a little bit, we'll start with straight from the beginning of November. November 3rd, Timothy Patrick Murphy, Mickey Trotter, born in 1959, November 3rd, so he would be 64. Deb Bernard celebrated her 64th birthday on November 4th, which was also the day Kate Reed, Lillian Trotter, was born in 1930. And she was old when she was on. She was old. She was not as old, but she looked old. November 7th, 2004, the same day as Return to South Fork aired, we lost Howard Keel. November 10th, born 1950, so he is 73, Jack Scalia, who played Nicholas Pierce. November 13th, which is today we're recording, 82 years old would be Dak Rambo. 83 would be Daniel Pylon, who played
Ronaldo Marqueta.
And J.A. Preston, who played Daltrey, guy from the Justice Department, was born 1932, November 13th. So it's a big day for birthdays. November 14th, Chris Demetral, who played Christopher Ewing in J.R. Returns, 1976, he's 47. November 16th would be George O. Petrie, would be 111. And he also died on his birthday in 1997. So he was 85.
So tonight, we're talking about Season 6, Episode 18, Episode 121 of the series, Requiem. It was written by Linda Elstad, directed by Larry Hagman, and aired February 11th, 1983, which I just have to give a shout out. One of my oldest friends, my friend Heather, who I met in Driver's Ed in 1991. Her birthday, this was her 7th birthday. So giving her a shout out.
That's cool. Sarah, your birthday's coming up.
I wasn't going to say anything, but it's 2 weeks from today.
I know it's the day before my mom.
It is, isn't it? That she's the 20. Oh, that's right. And my ex-husband's is today. Shout out, man.
Boo.
I did tell him happy birthday today. I was trying to be really nice, and he was like, "Thanks." I was like, "Wow, I actually got a thanks this year after like 6 or 7 years. I finally got a thanks." So
It's the least he could do. Jeez.
shit, I gave you 2 children. Come on now.
Right?
A thanks is the least he could do.
Thanks.
So the number one song in the U.S. this week was Men at Work, Down Under. And in the UK, it was Too Shy by Kaja Gugu, which is actually a personal favorite of mine. I love that.
I fucking love that song. I used to be
so
the show.
good.
I used to go, Too shy.
Hush, hush.
That song.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You probably know it
Okay.
you probably know it, you youngin. You probably know it from a karaoke bar or such. I'm gonna guess, but it's fine. At least you know it. I'm so proud.
Yeah, right. 'Cause it's-
True story, you guys. I my parents told me that before I even turned 2, like sitting in my high chair, I was singing "Pour Some Sugar on Me" and then "Love in an Elevator."
Oh, love it.
Yeah,
That's
Love in an
amazing.
Elevator. Definitely young, and I think "Love in an Elevator." I'm not sure exactly the year, but I feel like that was later. But yeah,
It's like
those were my
89. 11 Elevator. That was on the album before Pump.
yeah.
So-
Let me check it out because I know
That
I
was on.
sang it
88, 89, I would say.
89 just before my brother was born, but I was still
in
3 years
4th
old.
grade.
But "Pour Some Sugar on Me" was the high chair one. That's what that was the story. And then "Love in an Elevator" was like
Yeah. I was
dancing
in like
in the living room.
7th grade.
No, see, I had plans when I was 3. I was going to be on Star Search. Okay, Ed McMahon was
me
going to make me
too.
into somebody.
Nice.
I thought that too.
I had a little Fisher
didn't
Price,
happen.
a little cassette recorder with a microphone. I was going to make it happen.
And then Ed McMahon died and ruined all of your plans.
Oh,
God
I
damn it.
know.
Oh yeah, when did he die? I forgot. I remember
I don't
him
even know.
dying. It's been a long time.
It's been,
Right.
I think it's been a hot minute.
Was it him or Johnny Carson that died first?
I think he died first.
Ed McMahon. I haven't thought about him in a hot minute. You're right. 2009.
Yeah, I knew it was.
Oh.
Yeah,
Johnny
Okay.
Carson did die first. Holy shit.
Johnny Carson did.
Yeah.
Oh,
He died
Oh,
in
no, but they're about
2005.
old. Good to know.
Publishers Clearinghouse.
The number one film in the U.S. was Tootsie.
Still, geez, that was a long time.
News stories from this week are Weird Al released his first album.
Aww.
Yeah,
that-
it's Ricky
Oh, yeah. Oh, Ricky.
Ricky and Buckingham Blues debut LP. I like Weird Al, but I'm more of a like, if it's on, I enjoy it. If it comes up at karaoke, I'll sing it. But I don't own
But you're not going
albums.
to go out and buy the
You don't
CD.
seek it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of my friends did. So yeah.
I just remember I'm fat. I'm fat. I'm fat. Is it
Yeah.
bad? That's the one I
God.
remember the most.
That one. And then Amish Paradise.
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
my
the Amish
God.
Paradise is like amazing.
That was like his comeback.
Yeah. And then one year I was singing karaoke at my brother's when we do karaoke in the summer on my brother's farm. And I was singing Yoda, Yoda.
Oh my God.
It was the year we got our French bulldog, who we named Yoda.
Yoda.
And so I guess Seth was with him because Henry was really little at the time. And so he was like putting him to sleep in our little tent when we were camping. And I guess Yoda was freaking out like I was calling him. He was just like, what?
What?
That's funny.
The fourth largest snowfall in New York City's history was this day.
Mm.
Oh.
That's even a little early.
I'm going to be honest. There were a lot of people born this day, but they're all like footballers. Footballers.
You
know,
mean
soccer?
handball? Oh, football.
Football. And I'm sorry. I don't care.
It's okay.
So I just didn't write down their
Happy
names.
birthday to you all.
Yeah, happy birthday to like the 10 footballers who were born on February 11th, 1983, but I can't.
Did you recognize any of them? Like, I wouldn't have recognized any of them, probably.
No, I don't follow sports at all.
Don't hurt me, but I don't enjoy soccer. Sorry.
I don't enjoy any sport. I like events. I will go to any sport.
Yeah, me
and
too.
have a beer and eat nachos or a hot dog because everyone's excited. I like it, but I don't really care about what's happening.
I love basketball, but I would say go to hockey because I want to see people beat each other up. That's my favorite thing. And like teeth go on the floor and blood. I love that. I'm sorry.
Jeez.
I kind of like, honestly, I kind of like watching baseball because I can actually kind of keep up with what's happening with baseball. Because I'm just like, it's in the summer. I'm drinking beer. I'm just hanging out. And then I'll be like, oh, hey, yeah, something happened again. Because otherwise I have no idea. And on Dallas, Josh.
This episode actually dropped to number 16 in the ratings. Believe it or not. Down from number 5 the week before. And guest star John Ingle returned in episode 297 as the minister who married Callie and JR. And he has played Edward Quartermain on General Hospital. And in this episode, he played Dr. Pittman, who was the doctor, Rebecca's doctor. That is all I have.
So we open on bells tolling at night outside of Dallas Memorial Hospital.
Ominous AF.
Bong, bong.
So ominous. I was like, are these they're like death plague bells.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. It's like, some bad shit has happened, but
What?
Not yet.
We cut into Bobby, Pam, and Afton exit the elevator in the hospital and are told Rebecca is in emergency surgery.
Nobody can find Cliff. This is the days before cell phones really took off. Where's Cliff?
Where's
Nobody
Cliff?
knows.
No one knows. No. But we find out where Cliff is pretty quick because we cut to a place where the outside just says cocktails.
He's at the bar. Generic.
Right. Cocktails at the bar.
Cocktails. The bar.
And he's drunk as fuck and swearing off women.
And his buddy next to his bar friend is like, that's a terrible idea. And Cliff's like, bruh. Like, the things he could say,
He's
about
like,
why he's swearing off women. He was just like, fuck, I'm just going to drink.
He's like, whatever. I'm going to try.
He's like,
Better.
yo, hey, give my buddy here what he wants, blah, blah, blah. Throws down money, leaves just as the TV starts to go into the story about his mother's plane crash.
Misses it. And I would like to note that TV in the bar is a black and white television, which should not have taken me aback, but it really did. I was like, oh, yeah, this is the time when like a bar would have a black and white TV and not a color TV.
And a lot of bars didn't even
ones.
have TVs back then. And if they did, they were usually black and white.
The little black and white TVs with the pull knob and the antennas, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people fight to sit on the corner because that's where they put the TV, where the plug is.
So then we cut to a overhead of New York City at night.
Which was
New
wild.
York, New York.
It's very gray. It's very, very, very dark and very almost looks like it's storming,
it's winter in the Northeast. You know what that's like.
Yeah. Winter in New York.
It's gloomy.
Not lately, unfortunately.
Well, she's also in bed.
Right. It's night. And I think this whole episode is supposed to be sort of like gloomy and
dark
and
It almost reminds me of when they used blue filters to recreate night in some cheap horror movies, and just that New York
day
scene.
when they're shooting day for night. Yeah.
Day for night, yes.
Yeah, kind of. I bet it, I mean, I'm sure it's just a stock footage shot, but you know, it's kind of cool. I always love and appreciate seeing 1980s New York, like gross, dirty New York before it was cleaned up. It's a vibe.
You mean like Combat Zone New York? And
I should have taken a picture of that like on the screen, because it really looks like, doesn't it kind of, isn't it looking onto almost Midtown? Like you could see the Empire State Building. That's like Amber's neighborhood.
Probably, yeah. I'm not great with geography in general, but I'm sure you're correct.
I really suck in geography.
I only knew
Even
because
like
I saw the
US
Empire
geography.
State Building like right in the middle.
Oh yeah, and it is not that far, right, from there. So
yeah, which would make sense for Katherine to live kind of like in the. I can see her living in the Midtown East neighborhood.
Totally.
Well, she is a TV reporter, so she would want to be near the studios.
For sure.
Oh yeah, she's within blocks.
So Katherine is awoken by the phone ringing. She answered it all like, well, she doesn't know what's happening. It's Bobby, and he tells her like, your mom's been in an accident.
Bobby, you've called to tell me you love me.
No, she's like startled, like woken up in the middle of the night. My mom is what? Huh? My mom's in an accident. Fine, I'll be in like the next flight. And the crazy part is he's like, I'm sorry, and hangs up. And it's like, okay, the next flight, travel arrangements. Like, is somebody going to pick her up? Is she taking a car?
Right.
She didn't even ask. Like, did she even ask where her mother was?
Again, we have no cell phones. There's not Ubers.
Yeah.
Where do you know where to go? Who are you going to meet there?
Okay,
like,
I don't know. I'm coming.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, okay, cool. I mean, I guess all that stuff is implied, but still, it's like, it's so casual. Just like, hey,
right.
Bad thing happened. Please get here. Click. I mean, that's
Telegram.
yeah.
What is
Morse
it?
code. Yeah.
Or any of the telegram or telegraph when it comes over.
Telegraph. Yeah. Well.
Oh, telegraph. Yeah.
Telegram. Yeah. They used to call it not the wire. They called it something else.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I remember like on I Love Lucy, them getting them. You'd be like a telegram and
it'll say,
stop.
We have a cable for you. Yeah.
It'll say, come at 11:30. Stop. Don't be late. Stop. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think that was Western Union. That's what their thing was originally.
That's how they started. Oh, yeah.
That's what it was. Whenever they'd say, hey, oh my gosh. I remember like, again, on I Love Lucy, them saying, I want to send a wire. And it wasn't money. It was just a message.
Yeah, it's a message. Yeah.
It was basically like somebody sending a text message.
A text.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. You can't actually call a person.
Back in the day text.
Yeah. That blows my mind. You know what? When my grandmother saw me on my flip phone texting once, I should have told her I was sending a wire because she didn't understand what I was doing.
Right. Yeah. You're like, I'm sending a wire for free.
I'm sending a wire for free. She would have been like, oh, now that I think of it.
Yeah.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's been like 15 years, but whatever.
So then we cut to JR. He's on the phone with Mike Hughes. And he's, and making sure that the deal for the refinery is still on.
This is significant.
Yes. Because, JR knows Rebecca was on the way to, end
to stop it all.
Right. And so he's like, hey, I just want to make sure it's not happening. And he's like, oh, yeah, it was totally fine. I'm like, okay, good.
The crazy part, though, is that JR, in this scene, he really does fucking feel bad that it was Rebecca.
Right. Yeah,
he was like, she wasn't supposed to be on that plane. Barnes was like, what? He feels bad.
So bad. But because he was just like, oh, yeah, she, it should have been Cliff who died, not his mama.
She hadn't died quite yet at this point, but it was bad, and they knew it was bad. And he was like, this is you could tell that JR was genuinely bothered by it.
Yeah.
And Sue Ellen was even trying to be all the supportive wife, well, honey, darling, you couldn't have known. And he, and it's true. Cliff was supposed to be on that plane.
He was. And then he says, well, Cliff, he's probably off somewhere crying in his beer. And it sucks because he's totally right. He literally is crying in his beer.
But he has no idea why he's crying in his beer.
I know, but he has no idea.
Totally different.
Like, he's going to feel even worse, you know, like
Oh, yeah.
after the fact.
If he can.
So,
But I was just, when JR was like, Rebecca wasn't supposed to be on that plane, I was like, my God, he feels bad.
He does. A little bit. And he mostly feels bad because now he's thinking like, oh God, like the ramifications. If Rebecca dies, that means that Cliff and Pam are going to inherit like a shit ton of money, probably.
A shit ton of money and a shit ton of resources that can really give him hell.
Right. And he does not want to have to deal with that. He's like, he actually says like nothing could stop that idiot. Like if he has that money. And like, not so much the king attacked, but also not wrong.
it's like unlimited resources, and he knows it. And he sees it like right away.
Yeah.
Well, what was Rebecca
enough.
saying? What was Rebecca saying all last season when this all was going on? She's like, you know what? I can take them on, and I've got the power and the money to do it.
Right.
Like, bring it, bitches.
Yeah.
And JR's like, fuck.
Right.
Like, I was able to keep her at bay, you know, but oh, shit.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is, knowing all this has now happened, what has Pam been saying over and over and over for the past several episodes? She was really afraid that somebody was going to get hurt. Yeah.
And it has come to pass.
Mm-hmm.
And it is her mother.
And JR, of all people, is like, fuck.
Right.
Like, if it was Barnes, that's one thing,
Like,
but not
the
his
wrong
mama.
person got hurt.
Yeah. No, not his mama. No, mamas are off limits. No.
That's what happens. It's always the wrong people who get hurt in these things.
JR,
you know?
it's like collateral damage is a thing. And it's tragic. You stupid fuck.
You stupid fuck.
You stupid fuck. Oh, God. Stupid fuck.
So we got to the waiting room, and the waiting room, did you like the wall? The one wall, it's like all sterile waiting room, and the one wall is painted like sky blue with a big rainbow. Is this supposed to make us hopeful?
Like the nursery? What's up with the rainbows?
I think it's supposed to be like, don't worry, look at this rainbow, because it's the IC in the surgery waiting room, you know.
Oh God, I'd be like, what is this supposed to be? The gates of heaven? Because
it's very
symbolism.
Oof. That's the hospital that is in my hometown, which was next door to my high school. The ICU overlooks the cemetery, which is next door.
That's ominous.
Really, yeah, scary.
Yeah. Not great planning there.
No, not at all.
No.
So anyway, Afton still can't get a hold of Cliff anywhere, and she's like losing her mind about that. But Clayton arrives.
Clayton saves the day.
Yes.
Woo.
And Ellie's so excited that he's there, but you know, it's dire circumstances, and she tells him that it doesn't look good for Rebecca.
And she's a friend of Clayton's too, so he's like, of course, upset.
Right. Because he was, I mean, like, kind of, like, he denies that he was seeing her, but he was totally kind of seeing her.
We're just friends, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, Clayton.
Okay. Whatever you need to tell yourself, buddy.
Right.
But yeah, and Pam just can't speak, period.
No. Pam is not doing great.
One thing that got me in this whole episode was when everybody was like, how's Pam? I'm like, how the fuck do you think Pam is? Come on, you guys. Like, her mother was just, like, gravely injured in this plane crash that she shouldn't even been anywhere near.
Right.
It's a lot. How do you think she's doing?
Yeah. Not great.
Fair to say, not great.
Maybe just go give her a hug. That's probably the best thing you can do at this point.
Give her a hug. Let her cry it out. Because she needs to.
The doctor comes out and tells Pam that they, like, he was like, are you Rebecca's daughter? And then she's immediately like, she's dead. And he's like, no. She's alive. But, like, it's not great. We did everything we could, but it may not be enough because it's not good.
And she's like, can I see her? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. You know, we moved her to intensive care. So Pam goes, and then he looks at Bobby and is like, man, you better prepare her for the worst. It's
right.
No.
Yeah.
So basically, what they did was just triage, I think, to keep her alive, which is tragic, but
Gotta do it. Let all the family get there.
Cliff is passed out on his own couch, and the phone is ringing, and he's not waking up, and it doesn't seem he even has an answering machine at this point. So it's just ringing.
his drunk ass is there, just like phone ringing.
Right. Yeah. I'm dealing with it. And then the next morning, Bobby calls and updates Ray and Donna that that Rebecca is still in the ICU, but she's not doing great. And then immediately after, George Hicks calls,
And Donna's like, okay.
she's like,
And George is like, yeah, I wanna reopen this discussion on J.R. Ewing's variants. Yeah.
okay,
Go on.
I guess I'll be there.
Yeah, what? It's a little sus.
Clayton and Ellie arrive to South Fork after being at the hospital, and they meet Lucy and Sue Ellen. And I want to point out Lucy's outfit in this scene.
God almighty.
It is so 80s. It is like it's like workout Barbie. The top is like workout Barbie. It is pink and gray. So it's like kind of like the off the shoulder, like it's a workout thing, but then it has a skirt, and then she's wearing matching gray and pink cowboy boots. And like, I think like me at this point in my life would have like killed someone to own that.
You would have loved it.
1983.
They're very pretty. Very pretty.
But I took a screenshot of it, and I'm going to start on our Instagram. Outfits that I see, I'm going to start doing hashtag Dallas Fashion.
Yes.
Because
perfect.
there's some going to be like amazing things starting because it's the 80s. So
There are some things that they wore that I was like, yes, I want that now. But then there's other things it's like, oh my God, why?
oh, right, same.
Why?
I don't think I would look good in any of their clothes.
No. You know, safari outfit, I still
The
say.
safari, yes, but Lucy's clothes, they'd be too small on me.
You know, we can get them in your size, though. They totally would make it. It's possible.
Totally, yeah.
You could do a male version of it, I suppose.
For sure.
For shizzle and mizzle. Okay.
So anyway, so Clayton and Ellie arrive home. They meet Lucy and Sue Ellen at the door, and Sue Ellen asks how Rebecca and Pam are.
Again, how do we think they are?
Yes, but it's awkward. You don't know what to say or ask, and
It's uncomfy.
yeah. And they say they still can't get a hold of Cliff, and
This is a problem because how long has he been MIA? I mean, he's on his couch. We know that, but
On his couch,
Right.
passed out drunk because he left the bar before the news report came on the TV.
yes.
And even if he was in
then
the bar, he probably wouldn't have noticed it because he was drinking his head off.
Right, yeah, he was wasted and feeling really bad for himself. So then QJR waltzing in, just like randomly insulting Cliff as he walks by. And Clayton is not having it. And it says that basically JR is to blame for Rebecca's situation.
And Sue Ellen, the look on her face, she's like, I love you, but I will fight you right now.
Uh-huh. Because she's in prime, like, don't you mess with my man.
Mm-hmm.
She's in Tammy Wynette world right now.
And JR's like, hold up. I wasn't flying that plane.
I didn't put her on the plane.
I wasn't the one who like fucked up and made her go in my place. So back off. It wasn't
has
me.
nothing to do with me. I wasn't flying. Nothing.
Well,
Like I had nothing to do with this shit.
JR, you did turn Gil Thurman into Afton's direction, which caused the fight between Afton and Cliff, which caused...
He's never going to own up to that, though.
But
Gil Thurman is a disgusting dick, though. So that's all.
Gil Thurman
him.
is a grody.
Right.
Gil Thurman, disgusting.
And I like the look on Lucy. Lucy just looks at him with so much disdain as JR walks by.
Yeah, she's
kind
of like, you guys don't even have to tell me what he did. He just sucks.
Yeah. Fuck this guy.
He's breathing. He sucks.
Yeah.
If his lips are moving, he's lying.
So then we got to Dallas Memorial, and Pam is now in the room with Rebecca.
And
Rebecca's barely conscious.
But looks amazing.
She had her makeup
like
really
her
done
makeup
nicely.
Has makeup on.
She's
That's the
like
very
someone
first thing I
came in
said.
and gave her a little makeover.
She looks amazing for just having been through horrible
Her
bodily
eyeshadow's
trauma.
fresh.
Exactly.
So funny.
Now, if I may mention, this is the scene that Amy Irving was on set for.
Oh, cool. I was wondering if this was the one.
Yes, and Priscilla Pointer, I'll just quote her, recalls that her death scene in all its tragic entirety was being directed by Larry Hagman, of course. And her daughter Amy Irving wanted to be there, and Victoria said afterward that her own tears kept flowing throughout the scene because she glanced at Amy, and Amy was sobbing too. But for the sake of gag reels and outtakes, Larry had Priscilla sit up suddenly in her hospital bed in the middle of the scene, still attached to all the machines, and say, "Actually, I'm feeling much better now." And the crew was not in on the gag, and there was a huge gasp followed by much laughter. And she does not know why Rebecca was killed off, and guesses that they felt this particular plot line had run its course.
I disagree. Like, I think Rebecca was really adding something, and I think it's weird that they killed her off.
Yes.
They could have gotten more out of that character, at least for another season. At least, I think. But,
At least for another season, yeah.
yeah.
But they had to give Pam a reason to leave. So
I feel like Pam has, like, even before this episode, had one foot out the door, honestly.
right.
Yeah,
But-
I just thought the exact same thing.
Yeah.
1 foot out the door already.
She was already...
This just gave her the shove she needed.
And then she can run to the loving arms of porn stash.
Porn stash. So they're talking. Rebecca on her deathbed looks better than I look on a normal day. Pam reassures her that Cliff and Katherine are on their way because they want to see her. And then she's just like, no, it's so melodramatic. I love it. No, just Pam, take care of them for me. They're not as strong as you. And I'm like,
Strong. Strong? The woman that was standing on top of a building?
That's exactly what I was saying.
exactly. Like, who was like,
What happened?
has serious mental issues. I honestly think Katherine seems, at this point, maybe but we don't know Katherine very well at this point. But Katherine seems like maybe she has, who knows? I think they're all Looney Tunes. I don't know, the whole family.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?
Yeah. But you know, you have to take care. You are the strong one, Pam.
And she has her head wrapped in that gauze. What the?
Just yeah. There's no blood. There's no nothing. She just looks lovely. And then Pam, we cut to Pam. She has one single tear, and I'm amazed that those were real tears because it looked like they literally just took like an eyedropper and like put it right there.
It reminds me a little of. There was a scene on the news show where Jordana Brewster had to cry, but she couldn't cry because she had been using Claritin.
Oh, yeah.
And so her eyes were completely as dry as the Sahara. And yeah, it was a nightmare trying to get her to cry.
Then Rebecca's like, I love you, Pam. And then
That's my favorite in all of these episodes when they kill somebody in the hospital. And that.
oh yeah. And it always has the thing where the heart speeds up a little bit. It's like beep, beep, beep. And they're like, and they always look at the monitor like, oh my God, what's happening? And then it's always so quick.
What do you think's happening?
And at the end of the series St. Elsewhere, they had whenever they would do the closing credits and they would go to the logo, it was always the Mary Tyler Moore Company. So it was the cat that would always go meow. So at the end of the series finale, they had the cat was dead and they had it flatline. And it was just like, beep. This little cartoon cat.
Nice. So, dead. Pam's mama's dead.
And she ain't coming back because this isn't Stranger Things.
Yeah. It's not a dream. It's not a dream. So we cut to Cliff's
dream. No, like they would ever do that on a TV show, please.
I know that. What a crazy idea. And he's still passed out on his couch. And like, I just have to say, like, I know that we've seen this condo a few times at this point, but it's pretty new. Like, Cliff's color on this show is blue. Everything having to do with Cliff is blue. His old apartment, his new condo, like everything is blue.
The blue.
I have not noticed until now, but you're right.
Mm-hmm. His apartment, yeah.
It probably
everything's blue. Always,
everything's blue.
Mm-hmm. It probably means something, and we haven't.
And I love the color blue. I don't not like sky blue, but just like greener
like
shades
too.
of blue.
Powder blue, right? Like a powder.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Like a cornflower blue, maybe. So Afton tentatively comes in the condo and she sees Cliff is asleep on the couch. And so she just wakes him up. He's still like, he wakes up and he's just confused. And then he's like, oh, you're here. And he's like, pissed again.
It's like, no, you're here. You're here. No. Mm-mm.
It's over. You shouldn't be here.
And she's like,
we got nothing to talk about.
She's like, all right, dumbass. There's a problem. Something's happened. And he's like, what? And she's like, your mother's dead. And he's
she
like,
just says it so like, your mother's dead.
Talking about, she's like, Cliff, your mother's dead.
She doesn't say, Cliff, the jet crashed. She doesn't go in there. She just goes, your mother's dead.
Her panic was initial, but she's been up for 36 hours straight, and she finally found him after hours.
Right. She's been having this conversation in her head over and over and over for like 30 hours.
You selfish son of a bitch. Fine. Yeah, I was wrong, but your mother's dead.
Right.
So cry into your beer some more. But Cliff, this is one thing I liked about Cliff. He was not afraid to show his emotions.
He wasn't. I know.
True.
Yes.
I like that about Cliff too.
Yeah.
Props out to Ken Kershawol for his acting performance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. He's always
he broke down in front of Sue Ellen. He broke down in front of Rebecca. He broke down in front of Pam, Afton. Props, because a lot of men don't do that. They internalize everything, then they explode in anger. Mm-hmm. And he lets it out. And it's okay because, his mother just died tragically.
Right. And he
on a plane he should have been on.
He immediately goes into self-hatred mode and he's just like, it should have been me.
I was supposed to go,
Yeah. Survivor's guilt would be.
You didn't eat any licorice, Mama.
I think it sucks. I mean, I understand where Catherine's coming from, definitely, but Cliff and Pam, to lose their mother technically that young, and then to get her back and only have her for a couple of years, for her to be killed so tragically and senselessly, holy shit.
Right.
I think they're cursed.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. And see, all the money in the world, all the money that Rebecca's leaving behind is never going to fill that void.
Nope, never.
They just wanted their mother.
Uh-huh. That's all Pam really needed. It was her mom.
It was her mom.
And now her mama's dead because of the fight for Ewing Oil.
Yep.
That's not going to go down too well.
No, I feel like that's gonna keep going over in her mind over and over and over a little bit.
Spin me round like a record, baby.
Yep. And then we cut to South Fork where Bobby arrives home with Katherine, having, I guess, just picked her up from the airport.
Oh, so they did make travel arrangements. Okay.
Yes, they did.
Glad we've established that.
Right. Lucy and Ellie greet Katherine, and she's just kind of a mess, Katherine. She's really weepy, and she's like, I just kind of want to see Pam. And they're like, oh, yeah, go upstairs. And so she starts leaving, and then Bobby's going to go up with her, and Ellie stops Bobby, and she's like, actually...
Pam don't want you up there.
Pam asked specifically that you, leave them alone, and they get time just by themselves. And Bobby's like, what? Okay.
They need some sisterly time.
Right. So he's surprised by that, but he's like, basically whatever they need, whatever Pam needs at this moment. Cool.
Right. I'm going to go into overdrive to save my marriage here because her mama's dead.
Right. Yeah. So when Katherine walks into the bedroom, Pam's asleep. But But she quickly wakes up, and then Catherine's basically like, I don't know what like, can you explain to me? Because I really, like, I can't take any of this in. So Pam explains it to her. And then Catherine's immediate takeaway is that it's Cliff's fault. She's like, so she died because she was fighting Cliff's battles for him. And Pam's like, no, not really. Like, she was backing Cliff up. But honestly, like...
It's the stupid Ewing oil fight.
It's the Barnes-Ewing feud that killed her.
Right. So they lose their daddy to the bottle because of the feud, and now they lose their mama in a plane crash because of the feud. That's kind of a lot to take.
It is a lot to take, yeah. Yeah. No, it's... So then Donna calls Bobby, and he's in the kitchen drinking a beer.
Teresa takes the call, but he says he doesn't want to talk to anybody, but it is Donna, so...
Right, so he'll take... Donna's like the one person he'll talk to at this moment. And she's just like, hey, I know everything is awful in like a big black void, but I do have one small piece of good news. And that's that JR's variance has been rescinded.
Off camera, of course.
Right, off camera.
Because we can't have any political shenanigans interrupting the flow of this morning episode.
Right. I mean, yeah, I'm glad that they didn't, because it would really get in the way.
It would have been as out of place as Mitch's hospital scenes when he was on, and they were just like, felt like I was watching a different show, like a hospital show.
Skin.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Let's break up this morning episode to cut to an episode of C-SPAN.
Yeah. And then, so Bobby's like, yeah, that's great, but it's one day too late to save Rebecca, you know?
Truth.
Ouch. So then we cut to Ewing Oil. JR is on his way to the barbershop, which did anybody, like, I guess because he mentioned barbershop, I just kept looking at his hair, and it just kept being really, really obvious that this is like a
toupee?
A hair piece.
Yes, Larry's hair piece.
Oh, because it was so long.
I don't know. There's just like the way it was laying. I was like, and I hadn't noticed it at all this episode till he drew attention to his hair, and then I looked and I was like, oh, that's totally.
So was this a filler scene, and they just threw in the? Gotta get a
I don't know, man.
And I'm thinking of a barbershop quartet. But there are reporters that have been calling, and then Kendall has reporters out in the lobby that want to come in. And, he's probably like, they probably want information about Rebecca or something like that. But, well, curveball, how do you feel about your variance being rescinded?
He's like, I'm sorry, what?
Snap, 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 snap. Click, click, click. Photo, photo, photo.
Awkward.
Yeah.
JR's like,
So JR's just like, I'm going to be honest. He's like, this is the first I've heard of this. And
they got him, like, his reaction.
Yeah.
Like, they snapped it. He was like,
And they're like, what are you going to do? And he's like, well, I just heard about this 10 seconds ago, so I don't know. But we'll figure it out. And then he goes on like this political defense of like, they're not going to stop me from bringing affordable gas to the American people.
Oh God!
Spin doctor,
Donald.
spin doctor.
Okay, JR.
So he yells at Sly to get Hicks on the phone after those people leave.
Yes.
JR's not happy. Not
happy. Yeah.
Right.
Then we cut to Cliff. He's not doing well.
No. He can't face Pam and Katherine.
Because he's like, he thinks it's all his fault. And Afton was like, you know what? It's actually just as much my fault as it is your fault, because the chain of events set in motion by my sleeping with trash can Gil Thurman is that she is dead. But high point, she's like, here's the thing, is now I'm glad that I did, even though it was awful and I didn't enjoy it at all, because if I didn't do that, you would be dead and not your mother. And as much, she's like, I know it sounds awful. She's like, but
I can't.
I'm really glad you're not dead.
And I don't think your mother's a lesbian, and we can't have a lesbian affair.
I mean, what? That's I didn't even think about that, Josh.
There's plenty of blame pie to serve everybody a slice in this situation.
There is. Right, yeah. But, Cliff already has that self-hatred thing going for him, and it doesn't help. Right.
It's kind of a variant of Cliff's I'm a dumb cowboy thing, where he just blames himself for everything and that self-loathing.
I feel like, you know what? I don't know why, but it bothers me much less with Cliff than it does with Ray. With Ray, I literally want to punch him in the face.
It does me too. And I think it's because you see Ray as like a masculine cowboy. Even though I think Cliff is masculine, he's more of like that.
Like, Cliff actually shows his emotions, though. Like, Ray tries to cover them up. I think that's the difference.
His emotions are being the crybaby. That's his emotions. And he wants the sympathy, I guess.
And sympathy...
Like, for somebody to be like, are you okay? Like, that kind of thing. I think Cliff just is because he's just fucking pouting.
He's just like, I'm a mess. Yeah. And then Cliff just starts to cry, and he asks her not to go because he's just so alone. And I'm like, okay. And this, honestly, like, I know that people don't like Cliff for this reason, but this is the reason I love Cliff, because he literally is just, like, saying what he needs in that moment. And even though he can be a jackass, he's also being real.
He can be a compassionate jackass sometimes.
Keep it real, bro. Keep it real. So a night at South Fork and all the lights are on. So start chugging.
So drink.
All the lights are on, but yet in Bobby and Pam's room, the lights are off when we cut to the inside.
Oh, yeah. Maybe their bedroom's actually in the backside? We still don't have a layout of that house, so we don't know.
No, it's ever evolving and morphing.
Right, yeah. It's like the TARDIS in Doctor Who.
Who?
Doctor Who? The TARDIS?
Who is being replayed by that guy that was on Sex Education next?
Yes, Nikuti... Whatever. He was also in the Barbie movie, and he's so good. He's going to be amazing.
Did you finish Sex Education?
Yes.
Okay, I just finished it this past weekend because I take my time with shows.
No, it's a great show.
Stretch it out, yes.
Yeah, and he's
poor Otis.
Like of anyone, he's going to be an amazing Doctor Who. Do you watch Doctor Who at all?
I've never seen it.
The new Doctor Who that started in 2005, whatever. Like, I haven't watched a lot of the old stuff, but the new stuff, oh my God, David Tennant is my favorite Doctor.
Oh, I remember him from Broadchurch. Miller!
Yeah. And he's actually, they just regenerated into David Tennant again. So the 60th anniversary specials that are coming out, David Tennant's the Doctor again.
Oh. I just want to hear him go, Miller! Olivia Colman. You gotta like her.
She was also in Doctor Who.
Wow.
Actually, everyone in Broadchurch was in Doctor Who. The mom from Broadchurch was the doctor, the last Doctor. She's actually just regenerated. The guy who played the old guy who was he was basically like the Boy Scouts, but it was for the sea or whatever. Mm-hmm. They accused him of killing the kid. He played the first Doctor in the if they do flashbacks where they run into the first Doctor, he plays the first Doctor.
Oh.
And the minister from Broadchurch plays one of the 11th Doctor's assistant, Rory. So.
And then there was that American version, Grace Point,
which was awful. Did you like it? I hated it. I don't know.
I watched the Broadchurch to see where it would have gone if Grace Point had continued, because it was kind of similar.
Oh, did you watch Grace Point first?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's why you could. So I watched Broadchurch first.
Oh, okay.
And then watched Grace Point, and I was like, I can't with this.
And then
they replaced that Olivia Colman with the wife from Breaking Bad, who I think she's a terrible actress.
And the reporter was Air Bud. All I could look at him was and see Titans with Victoria Principal. And then he played Katie Seagal's son on Rebel, which was just a short-lived series. I met her last weekend.
I liked it too.
Which one? Rebel?
Yeah, I liked that show. And it only was on for like a season or something.
Yeah. And you're going to get a season 2 of 1923 from Yellowstone. You're going to get 1944 as a spinoff, and 2024 is another spinoff. So back tonight at South Fork with the lights on.
Yeah.
That it's just the two of them now.
And Pat's like, and Cliff. And she's
like,
just
no.
like, yeah, Catherine just like doesn't even respond to that.
No, he's the reason Mama's going in the ground, so no.
She's like, fuck that guy.
Yeah. Then she says she should move out there.
Yeah, Rebecca's like, you know what? I feel like I should just...
Catherine.
Huh?
Rebecca's dead.
Oh my God. Yes. And, I kept
She's
writing that
still
and then
dead.
being like, no, it's... yeah. And I even wrote Rebecca, nope, it is Catherine, Mary. Catherine says she's going to move to Dallas.
Rebecca's not moving anywhere. She's quite dead at the moment.
Quite dead.
She's pining for the fields.
And then Bobby, so she's like thinking about moving, and then Bobby breaks the mood by turning on the light and bringing in Christopher to say goodnight.
I know.
Little baby.
And I feel like it looked like Pam was pissed at first for a second, and then she was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, she's not. It's kind of weird because Pam, like in this episode, she has two moods. It's hysterical and too fucking calm. And right now she's being too fucking calm. Yeah.
What's new? I mean, we're riding the crazy train.
Right.
Well, like, she's almost void of emotion when she's talking to Bobby, like this whole episode.
Yeah.
Because the crazy is about to come to the surface and rear its ugly head.
Crazy Eyes is coming back.
It's
honestly,
coming back.
I think she got the crazy from Rebecca. Rebecca just learned how to mask it as she got older.
Well, that's what I think they're all crazy. They have Rebecca's gene.
Yeah, I think they have mental health issues in their family, like for reals.
Oh, yeah.
And the common denominator there is Rebecca.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, she, for whatever reason, I don't know. Do we know that Digger was drinking in the early days of their marriage? Okay.
Yeah, he was drinking.
So she escaped a bad marriage or whatever?
Right. And abandoned her children.
But does anybody ever think that maybe Digger drank and ran from her because she was crazy?
Yeah, we never know.
But she also wasn't Ellie either.
Makes you even crazier.
Well, she did buff the bedpost with Hutch McKinney.
She did.
The ranch woman. She's pounding the Posturepedic with him.
Oh.
Acting out like that, quote unquote, is
a symptom.
Symptoms.
Right. But they definitely were not detected in those days.
Back then? No.
God,
not in the 80s, probably
symptoms.
not even in the 90s, probably. Nope. It's just more
recent.
In the last, 15 years, maybe? God, I feel fucking old.
5 or 10. Yeah.
If they all would have benefited from just a really good SSRI. Really? Yeah, it's a type of drug like Prozac or Lexapro.
Throw a couple of mood stabilizers in there too.
Got him.
Prozipium. It's my hybrid of lithium and Prozac together. A new drug.
Do you take that?
No.
Okay. I was just wondering because you knew what it was. I take Lexapro. I'm not ashamed at all. It helps me be very. It makes me. If I do not take it,
I take Prozac. So
I hear about taking Prozac. I hear about people taking lithium. So I go, let's just come up with Prozithium and combine the two.
Wonder what that would do.
So anyway, Bobby comes in, puts Christopher to bed. She gives him a kiss. He takes him out. He's being actually very a good dad and husband at that moment. And Catherine looks at Pam, and she's like, must be so nice and reassuring to know that you have someone like Bobby.
Does she
Pam's
really?
like, do I? No.
She's like, I don't know, do I have him?
I mean, don't say shit. I mean, she doesn't know this right now, but it's like, don't say that shit to your crazy sister because she's going to get the idea. Ooh, Bobby's free now.
Right.
I want to go get him.
And I'm going to say, like, I'm just going to, Pam, yes, you obviously still have Bobby. It's you're questioning on whether you want him is what's happening.
Because she blames him for this, for her mother dying.
Right.
That's what this is about.
Then Ewing Oil Night.
This is a bookend to the Holly Harwood scene when she has to come into his office at night.
Right. Yeah. So this is JR looks upset and a little wasted. He's pacing his office when Hicks walks in.
And Hicks is like, yeah, man, I'm out. And JR's like, excuse you? No, you're not. Like, what happened? He's like, I changed my mind. And he was like, oh, okay. So you got weak. And he's like, no, I got blackmailed. And it was your brother.
He calls him a
took
gutless
page
little
right
chiseler.
out of your book.
A gutless little chiseler.
He took a page right out of your book, buddy. Like, yeah, I got blackmailed. So guess what? Changing my vote. And JR's like,
wow, damn.
All
okay.
Right. All right. Pony up, Bobby. Okay, got it.
Bobby got co-Jones.
And then the next morning, Bobby is saying he's not going to be making it into the office because he's helping with funeral arrangements.
Did we also note that JR calls Walt Driscoll about that proposal?
Right. Oh, yeah. Right after. Yeah, he calls Walt Driscoll and he's like, hey, that thing, maybe I'm in. Let's do that.
Let's do that thing.
Oh, and this has a great quote where he says, like my daddy always used to say, if you can't get in the front door, go in the back.
So he's a backdoor man, huh?
He just admitted to using the service entrance. I think that is very significant for J.R. Ewing.
Right? What the heck? All right,
he goes in with the help when he can.
When he has to.
He's
not above it.
When it's required.
And no, people, this has nothing to do with sexual backdoor.
Oh, sure. None at all.
No. I wasn't thinking about that. I don't know if you were.
I was. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I know. The implications were there. I was just trying to skirt it.
So Bobby's going to make funeral arrangements with Pam. And then Ellie asks how Pam is. And he's like, you know what? I don't really know. Like, I don't think good, but she's not really sharing much with me.
She and Katherine, I think, were on their way to Cliffs. And then Ellie goes in the kitchen. And this is where that famous scene foreshadowing the future takes place.
Oh, yeah. JR's variance is made the front of the Dallas News, which Sue Ellen is reading. And Ellie says, like, how much the death of his mother-in-law is really affecting him. And Sue Ellen is instantly pissed. And she's like, I think it's time that you give your other son some sympathy, too. And Ellie just looks at her and she's like, I'm sorry, what did you say, Sue Ellen?
Oh, yeah.
A variant?
She's like, you have the audacity right now.
Right, like, what is
comparing a variance to a loss of a human life?
Right.
She's like, what did you just say? Like, I know you did not.
You did not. Yeah, she's just aghast.
And Sue Ellen's like, well, Miss Ellie, yeah, I feel, she's so convincingly, I feel terrible about Rebecca's death. I really do. But, just the whole, like, JR deserves some sympathy too. Really?
Well,
pick your moments, Sue Ellen.
No, you'll find it in the dictionary between shit and syphilis.
But Ellie loses her shit in a very collected way and says a very, very distinct foreshadowing. We didn't know it at the time. She gives this monologue that I think honestly should be entered in some TV Hall of Fame somewhere. Because holy fuck.
Think ahead, Sue Ellen. Think 25 or 30 years ahead. I won't be here then. And the fight won't be between JR and Bobby. It'll be between John Ross and Christopher. Think carefully, Sue Ellen. Your loyalty to your husband is a wonderful thing. But you're a mother, too. And where will this all end?
Don't think of now. Like, think 25, 30 years ahead. I won't be here, but you will. And the fight won't be between JR and Bobby. It's going to be between John Ross and Christopher. So you're also a mother. So mother up. Basically, it's not just your husband who's in this fight.
Right.
That would be a great idea. Like if they did another TV series, maybe jumped ahead.
Right. Yeah, that'd be really interesting. Good idea, Ellie.
Because she's right. This thing is bigger than all of them as it is right now because of their empire and the empire that Rebecca Wentworth just left behind, whilst Pamela is still married to Bobby Ewing.
Right.
Ooh.
It's a lot of fucking money and power.
And at the moment, like, Christopher is set to inherit from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. So he could one up John Ross with his money.
Honestly, yeah.
That's interesting. That's a good point.
Ooh.
That we never.
Money.
I wish Christopher was more
Get your
interesting
money
in
for
this
nothing
series.
and your checks for free.
So then we cut to Cliff, and he's talking to his sisters, and he's like, "Look, I know that you guys are pissed at me. Like, you can't hate me any more than I hate myself at this moment. Like, I understand that I fucked up, and it's awful, and I don't know what to do about it." And then Pam just hugs him. And
No response from Katherine. She's sitting on the couch.
no response from Katherine. I love Pam's dress in this scene. It is black, and then it's like that 80s diagonal, so like half of the shirt on a diagonal's like just stripes. So she leaves to go to the funeral home, Pam does, to make arrangements because Cliff can't even think about it. And Catherine's like, you know what? I'm gonna stay here.
Let's stay here.
Stay here. I have some things to say.
I need to release my inner thoughts.
So then Pam walks out. The door closes. And then Katherine turns around and like loses her goddamn shit.
Kaboom. She explodes all over those blue walls.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, as somebody who first came across Morgan Brittany in the film Yours, Mine, and Ours, all I heard was Louise Beardsley freaking the fuck out about being walked in on the bathroom by her sitter and then being dragged out the door to the infirmary to make sure she was okay.
I've never seen that.
Oh my God. Yeah. There's this scene where the voice, exactly the same. Even the expression, she was like, "Ah!" And it's just like, holy shit, it's Louise Beardsley. She still sounded the same 15 years later.
So yeah, Katherine tells him it's his fault and she's going to make him pay.
Right.
And honestly, with her crazy, that could mean anything.
I said
Really good. But we don't know how crazy she is yet. We don't really know.
I said she rips him a new asshole, basically.
She really did.
The way that she's absolutely unleashed on him right now, like we knew at the beginning that she was kind of like, but then they got along, and then all of a sudden he's back to being the piece of shit that she thought he was this whole time.
And now Mama's
But also
gone.
she's grieving, so
But she's also grieving.
And Mama's gone,
could
so
be
there's
acting
nothing to
Hold her
buffer.
back.
There's
Right.
no protection. Yeah.
So Dave calls Donna to get all the tea about what's going on with the variants and how I get overturned. He's like, tell me everything, girl.
And Donna's like, well, apparently we had a spy in the house. Kind of like there was a fox in the hen house.
Right.
Some shady shit went down.
Yeah. So he's like, wow, that's crazy. I'm glad it happened. And BTW, send my condolences to Bobby and Pam.
Right. And Ray is cleaning his boots.
Yes, he is. He's shining his boots at the table.
That's right. I'm going to be eating off that table because I'm a cowboy.
Then Ray, he's like, well, what are you going to do now that this is over with? Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to write another book? Are you going to become president of the United States? Like, what are you going to do?
I'm going to eat bonbons and paint
me.
my toenails.
I mean, that's not a terrible idea.
Yeah.
What, eating bonbons?
Sure.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, there's a lot to be done on the commission. And honestly, there's JR. And with JR, there's always a tomorrow with things to do. So,
yeah, he's job security, like stopping
Right.
his stupid shit. Like when he.
right.
They have a career in stopping J.R. Ewing.
Yeah. Yeah, she's not worried about it.
And Holly thinks she put a stop to him when she pulled that gun on him, but she ain't. Yeah.
Nope. She goes to visit JR just to gloat.
And J.R.'s like, well, you may control things in the bedroom, but guess what? I still control Harwood, so.
I want my 25% back, JR.
And he's like, nah, sorry about that.
He's like, actually, you haven't been paying attention, and literally, I'm Harwood Oil now. And she's like, I'm sorry, what? Yeah.
You're not Harwood Oil. I am.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be Ewing Oil, too.
And she's like, all right.
Does not look enthused about that.
She's like, I got to raise the stakes. This motherfucker's not playing.
Yeah. And Pam's not amused when or Bobby wants to take her on a vacation after this is over.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? Like, the two of us, like, we really, he's like, I know you need to be strong for, like, Katherine and Cliff and all that. He's like, but you got to let me in because, like, obviously you're hurt and you're sad and I'm here for you, whatever you need. And as soon as this is all over, we're going to take time off. And we can go like away together and spend some like quality time, just me and you. And she's just like, I don't know what I want to do right now. I don't want to make any plans.
A little too late. I think it's a little too late.
Yeah, she's like, I have no idea. So we'll, think about that later. And I'm like, girl is mentally checked out of this.
Yeah, she's like, yeah.
Yeah. Where's Dr. Conrad when you need her? Dagmara. Have you ever met anyone with that name before?
No, it's an original name. I think I actually need a marriage counselor at this point, honestly. You really do. So Walt discusses the Caribbean plan with JR.
The Caribbean plan.
You're going to send the oil to Cuba out of Galveston, but all the paperwork is going to say Puerto Rico. Isn't that brilliant?
Right. It's gonna be great. And Jared's like, okay. He's like, okay. And then, but he's kind of like,
where are you gonna get that oil though? But because your variance was just taken away, so
yeah.
Well, you worry about the paperwork. I'll worry about the oil. Because remember, I'm Harwood.
So then, big ass fancy funeral for Rebecca, and I'm thinking this is the biggest funeral on this entire series for anyone.
Right.
Not even mentioning people who die in the future. Like their funerals are sort of like close knit affairs, and this is like a social event.
See, this. I think it gives them a good glimpse, maybe, or any of us, into what the death of a public figure like that did.
Right.
Especially back then with the coverage and everything. Because there's actually somebody who was walking like up the stairs, and I thought for a minute it was Priscilla Pointer. Like it looked just like her. But the lady's hair was a little bit redder.
Huh.
Wouldn't it be funny if they let her dye her hair and go to her own funeral?
That would be funny.
That would have been funny.
And you had Andy Bradley, you had the cartel there, you had Mara Lee. Well, she's cartel.
And did you notice Andy Bradley looks directly in the camera when he walked past it?
Mm-hmm.
Directly into it. I was like, you're not supposed to do that.
You're not supposed to do that, Mr. Buddy Hinton's father on the Brady Bunch.
You broke the fourth wall.
Right. Yeah.
You're not Norman Fell. This isn't Three's Company.
Right. So then while that's happening, JR's actually watching coverage of the funeral on the news, which like, what news station is this? Because they're covering it like it is a social event. They're like, and this person's here and this socialite person is here.
And Mike Hughes even storms into JR's office. And JR is like, oh, we never had a deal. Well, we talked about it.
Right. And he's like, I'm sorry. We totally had a deal. We agreed that this was going to happen. And JR's like, well, here's the thing. I don't need your refinery.
There was nothing on paper.
And there's nothing on paper, so it's not happening, buddy. And he's just so pissed. He's like, no, we had an actual deal. And he's like, but we didn't.
People warned me
And you
about
can't
doing
prove that
business
we
with
did.
you. People warned me.
He's like, yeah, he's like, maybe you should.
Well, and that's the thing. JR just violated like his word.
Old school.
Old school. Like,
Yeah.
how many times did he say that the handshake deal or whatever was the most sacred from his dad? Because that was the level of trust involved there that you weren't going to get screwed over. So Mike Hughes is not only pissed about the business deal, he's like, wow, you fucked me over personally. You are a piece of shit. And wow.
And Tara's like, yeah.
If I had a gun, I would shoot you right now.
And I don't care.
Been there, done that. No.
Yeah. And he's just basically like, bye.
And then he goes back to the TV, and who's walking up the stairs at the funeral?
Oh my God. Pornstache saunters up towards the camera and then just like sits in front of the camera.
He's like mugging for the camera, basically.
He is. He's mugging for the camera. He's like, hey, check me out.
Yeah, and JR's watching it. He's like, oh, Mark Grayson.
Mark Grayson, you're still around. What? Oh, okay.
Still around. Well, where would he have gone?
So funny. So this gives JR some ideas.
What kind of ideas, I wonder?
So we got to South Fork for the like after funeral get together.
I was going to call it the after party.
The after party, yeah.
There's not a party going on here. It's
it's a after wake. I don't know.
Yeah.
And Clayton says he wants something very tall and very strong.
Bobby?
Right. And then he's just like, well, at least JR had the decency to stay away from the funeral.
And Sue Ellen jumps to his defense.
I think that's unfair. Clayton, he's like, are you kidding me? Really? Really?
You're going to go there?
He's like, it's just like, yeah, no one feels worse about Rebecca dying than JR. And he's like, sure about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And then, so then Ellie's like, well, kind of like it's for the best that he didn't show. Just, all said and done, it was great. And then Pam just gives the whole room the biggest like fuck you stink eye, and then gets up and walks out, and she's just like,
she's done.
Oh, she is done, and she hates every one of these people.
Can't blame her at all.
So Bobby meets her on the stairs, and she says, I need to go to my mother's. I'm going to change clothes. I need to go to my mother's house. Well, I'll drive you. And she says, no, I'm going alone.
I need to be alone. And he's like,
This is me looking for me time. So bug off.
And she says that she'd rather be alone. And Bobby seems like worried. And like, I don't blame Bobby at this moment because Pam was on a rooftop about to jump less than 2 years ago.
Right.
And the last time she was really depressed. And her mom just died. And she is like, he knows that she has depression issues and all of that. So he's legit worried. Like she could be about to hurt herself. Like he doesn't know.
And look this is what happened when her mother died. Compare that to when her father died. She finds out that he's not her father. And then that just set off a chain too.
Right.
So what chain will this set off?
Right. And he knows the past that she's not well a lot of the time. So he's like, hey, I'm worried about you. And she's just like, and he feels hurt that she's going, but also I can't blame her really for not wanting to be there. So,
he has been a bit of a dick.
He has been a bit of a dick.
And she's about to board the going off the rails on the crazy train.
We'll see. I don't know. That's that he doesn't know. So then we cut to JR, who thinks he's at a slumber party or something because he decides to make some crank calls. And
is Seymour there? Last name Butts? No.
He calls Pornstash's office, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is Cliff Barnes, and I would just like to."
This is totally Cliff Barnes.
Totally Cliff.
Don't
Totally
be
Cliff Barnes.
suspicious.
I'm not even going to disguise my voice either.
Not even disguised as what? Not even a little bit. No. And I mean, they didn't even have star 69 at this point, so he was safe. But like
69.
He's like, yeah, this is Cliff Barnes, and I just wanted to thank him for coming to my mother's funeral because my sister and I were really, mostly my sister Pam Ewing was really like, she really liked seeing him there. She was like talking about how hot he was, basically.
She was basically moist.
And it's just so ridiculous. And they're like, the secretary's like, oh, thank you so much, Mr. Bronson. Oh, my condolences as well. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been real hard.
Thank you. Back. Yeah, now I'm going to call Jeremy Wendell's office.
He's so proud of himself afterwards, too. He's just like,
and then the call comes in. Walt Driscoll said the test run has gone well, but why is all that oil from Harwood? I thought it was going to be Ewing oil.
Yeah, and the look on Walt's face where he's basically like, it looks like he's doing that like laugh because he's about to cry thing where he's just like, so I thought it was going to be Ewing oil, and but it was Harwood oil. And Jay's like, well, yeah, don't worry about it. Like, you're going to get paid either way. Why do you care? And he's like, I don't care. But yeah, okay.
I don't care. Peace out.
Hey.
That's interesting. When the cartel's leaving Cliffs, Punk and Mavis went there and not to South Fork.
Right. Yeah, because Cliff is also having a like post-funeral soiree at his place. And I thought that was weird that Punk went to Cliff's and not. But maybe they maybe made both. Who knows? But yeah.
Yeah,
why not?
well, it would have been nice.
But they've been working together.
Maybe they could have combined and had one big soiree together.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Oh, yeah.
Not awkward at all.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. And so Afton goes up to Mary Lee and she asks if her and Jordan could help get Cliff's mind off all of this. She's like, I'm sure there's work stuff if you could help. And Mary Lee actually, she's like, yeah, I feel like we could, because Mary Lee actually has a little bit of
experience with this.
So she's just like, yeah, we could do that.
We can do that.
And she goes,
oh my God.
Cliff
collateral damage in the form of fighting with J.R. Ewing.
Yep.
Mary Lee knows. But at the same time, I think she was a little bit more sympathetic than Jordan was. Like, because I remember writing down, these are his friends, really. Like, she was a little... Mary Lee was a little bit more sympathetic, but Jordan was just like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Laissez-faire?
Blustery, like kind of just, yeah.
Jordan's always blustery. That's
always.
His, like,
but Cliff's mother just died. Like, let up, dude.
Now, Cliff, I know your mom.
Cliff, I know your mom just died, but
there's no but.
I got a business deal for you, Cliff.
I mean, I'd be like, get the hell out of my house, dude.
And like Mary Lee like gives him like a hug and like a side kiss and everything, and it wasn't sexual at all.
No, it was like caring.
Yeah,
it was like, hey, hang in there, friend. This sucks.
Well, you didn't see her other hand was grabbing his balls.
Afton wasn't even like fazed by it because she knew it didn't mean anything.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because Afton has her radar going for that shit. So she.
And she's like, can you like let me stay and help you? And he's like, no, I'll get it later. Like. And
then Rebecca's attorney calls, and Cliff doesn't want to. Oh, yuck.
Oh, he can't even. He's just like,
I'm not doing
that.
She has the dirt hasn't even settled in the ground yet, and she.
Yeah, that like give him a day at least, lawyer guy. I don't care how.
That's
I don't
crazy.
care if you want your attorney fees.
It needs to be settled. Yeah, that's too soon. Too soon.
Now, Cliff.
And then Pam, we cut to Pam walking around Rebecca's house, and then she finally cries.
She wails.
Yeah, she does. She wails.
And then
let's go.
And then she peels into South Fork, so you got a drink.
Yeah, she does. She is peeling into South Fork at night with all the lights on, so drink twice.
Yeah.
And nobody's been able to find her, just like Cliff earlier.
Right. And they're all
runs in the
worried.
family, doesn't it?
Like Bobby, Catherine, everyone's worried because there's no cell phones. They can't get a hold of her. They don't know where she is.
See, again, imagine how different the series would be if it was cell phones.
Yeah.
It would take a lot of drama out of it.
It would. It definitely would. So she comes in and then she's like, I decided that I have to leave South Fork. And he's like, well, that's a big step, but okay, that's fine. Like, we'll go find a new place to live. It'll be great. And she's like, yeah. See, here's the thing. And just like me, not you. Like, you need to stay here. And he's like, you're going to leave without me and Christopher? And she's like, no, I'm going to take Christopher.
Right.
I'm leaving you.
Yeah. You're out to pasture. Bye-bye.
Yeah. I'm leaving you. I'm Audi 500.
And
we got a motor if we're going to make that funeral.
And what we don't see on the other side of the dining room wall is Catherine getting all excited.
Catherine's like, that's my chance.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Melanie, let's hear one of your mwah.
Yes, Bobby is shocked, and then we freeze frame on Pam.
And
so we scene. And we drink twice because it is not JR.
Crazy. So
I'm going to give this one 4.9 bourbons because I really like this episode. So I'm going to give this 4.9 bourbons and Pam leaving Bobby. Yeah. And I know that's going to piss people off, and I'm sorry, but I'm, not my favorite couple.
Gotcha. Oh, they'll come for you.
Yeah.
Oh, they will. That's fine. That's fine. We all have our opinions.
So I'm going to give this a 4.25. And the only reason why, because I really didn't like the episode, just that she died. That Rebecca died. That's so sad that I'm excited about that. I'm not excited about it. I just thought it was a climax. Is that what I should say?
My God, yes. She died.
It's going to add a lot more storylines. I think it is. I know. Okay, and then and I will give it, like I said, 4.25 and a sunny, happy rainbow in the death room.
I'm going to go with a 4.75 because this was a very up there, pivotal episode where we see the series has shifted.
It's very shifted
on its axis, yes.
Yeah.
And it's going to set up a lot of things to unravel. And I'm going to give it a cemetery plot for Rebecca. Rest in peace. With a tombstone. Thank you, Priscilla Pointer.
Yes. See you in A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3.
I'm going to give this, I go 4.9. It was a great episode. Let's see, 4.9, and we're going to give Cliff a bag phone because he needs to be found.
He really does. With big old bags.
Can you put a low jack on him or something, or just put a tracker in him?
Something. Jesus.
Basically.
Answer your phone, Cliff. Get an answering machine, for the love of God. It is 1983. What are we doing? You're a businessman. Get an answering machine.
Business.
Right.
But yeah, so that was a great episode and very pivotal turning point, I think, for the entire series. For several reasons. And yeah, I'm excited for the next episode, which is it's called Legacy, episode 19, 122 of the series. In the meantime, you guys check out our revised website. I put a bunch of new stuff on there, and we have a bunch of new merch in our store. Get yourself a Sue Ellen pillow. Get yourself a Jock coffee mug. Get yourself whatever. There's so many different things, and that really helps us out a little bit too. So the link is on our website and in your show notes.
Isn't that special?
And we'll see you next time. Until then, bye.
Bye, y'all.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
Good night, y'all.
Next on Dallas.
Pamela, you are building an awful big wall between us, and it's impossible to talk to you through it.
I didn't build the wall, you did.
That battle is between me and JR, and it has nothing to do with Rebecca or Cliff or anybody else.
But Rebecca is dead, and your marriage may soon be dead. Bobby, you just don't see what's happening to you.
Didn't you ever realize that I was in love with him?
There's only one way to get this family together.
For us to stop our battling.
Yes, exactly.
And I think we ought to.